Hi, my name is Dr. Brad Fackrell from Synergy Spine and Nerve Center, and today I want to talk about the stress response and how in our culture it is causing many of the underlying chronic health conditions like heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, poor immune function, insulin resistance and diabetes, and so many other things, and what we can do about it. So in order to talk about this, imagine us back in the day when we lived out in the wild and we were sitting around at the campfire minding our own business, and all of a sudden a tiger comes along. When that tiger comes along, well, immediately our nerve system detects it and stimulates a response inside our brain that will allow cortisol levels to go up into our bloodstream. Now, the purpose for high cortisol is to allow us to go into fight or flight, and I'll talk about what that does in a moment. But the key is that allows us to appropriately run from the tiger or fight the tiger. Now, the reason that happens, the mechanism, is that cortisol levels are released into the bloodstream. And when cortisol goes in, it allows for certain bodily functions that will allow us to properly fight or flight. For example, one example is blood pressure. It'll make blood pressure go up. It'll make blood clot. Of course, the wonderful thing about that is if the tiger gets part of our bum, well, we won't bleed to death. We'll be able to clot and hopefully stay alive. And whatever it is that we're trying to fight, when the danger leaves, then we can calm down, serotonin comes back in, and we can start to relax, and cortisol levels come back down to normal levels, and we're healthy. The problem in our culture is we have so many chronic stressors, physical, chemical, and emotional, that literally are making most of us be in a state of chronic high cortisol. I'm going to give you an example. I have a new patient who just came into my office this week, and she's a wonderful person, but she has so many health issues, including these pain issues. But one of her conditions that she was talking about is how her hair is just falling out, and many other health conditions too. All those are the result of ill health that are centered around chronic high cortisol levels. So, what are we doing in our culture that are causing those high chronic cortisol levels? Well, we eat a diet that is not congruent with our genome. We're eating foods that are processed and nowhere near what actual food is. Many of us are not exercising like we should. When the body moves, it stimulates the cerebellum and it helps that stress response come down. If you've watched our video called Spinal Hygiene, where we talk about proprioception and nociception and sympathetic dominance and parasympathetic dominance, that's where this comes in line. If the joints are properly moving, especially the joints of the spine and especially in the neck, that's one of the biggest things that will reduce physical stressors in the brain, the cerebellum, which will bring you into parasympathetic dominance. Cortisol levels are naturally going to come down. Other things are poor nutrition, and then also poor emotional states, meaning, we're just inundated with too many chronic high stress situations that, quite frankly, we've adapted so well to where we don't even feel like we're stressed, but in our bodies, that cortisol response is there. And so therefore I have many people when they're 40 or 50 or 60 years old, they come in and they've been on blood pressure medication for a while. They've been on insulin resistant medication for diabetes and all kinds of other things. So what can you take from this information? Wherever you can reduce physical, chemical, and emotional stressors, you are going to be healthier. And you're healthier as a result of bringing cortisol levels back down to a more normal state, to where they can properly be elevated when we are encountering some immediate acute stress, but then they come back down. Now, if this video has been helpful for you, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up. And if you would like to see a minute or so of today's mountain bike ride at Angel Fire, New Mexico, stay tuned, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Whoa!
this is the one, but I'm going to be brave.